Thanks a lot, Manuel. For a closer look at where the storm is heading and what makes the system a bomb cyclone.
Yeah, let's bring in CBS News weather producer David Parkinson. So, David, good to see you.
Thank you.
I see T-shirts. I survived the bomb cyclone or something along those lines.
Exactly. So, where is the storm headed now?
So, the storm right now, sort of the south end of the precipitation is in North Carolina, and the north, look, it's up by Bangor, Maine. So, the interesting thing about this is you can see the deepest blue colors that you have here. That's the most intense snowfall rates. So, in terms of intense snowfall rates, we've been seeing rates out along the Hamptons of 3 inches per hour. So, it doesn't take a whole lot of math to get up to some of these really big snow totals that we're talking about. That's what we're talking about, where if you get in a band, you could easily see you exceed your range. But we're pretty comfortable with the general feel of 2 to 4 in D.C., 4 to 8 in New York, and about a foot in Boston.
So you said if you get in a band, does that mean that, for example, I could be at my house, I could see these tremendous snow totals, and then maybe a couple miles away, there's not that much?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's a highly localized thing. So the bands are generally pretty skinny, but they may be pretty long. So if they're coming at, Long Island, let's say, Islip to Montauk's going to get it, but Bayshore won't.
Right.
It's one of those kinds of things of the distance from that band has everything to do with, and your snowfall rates have everything to do with how much you're going to end up at the end.
I think it's an important thing to point out, because sometimes people accuse us in the media of overblowing the weather, because when they look out their window, they're not seeing what they see on TV. But just because you're experiencing that doesn't mean you should get in your car and go out and, you may find yourself in trouble a few blocks down the road. Or
underblowing it too is the
right.
reverse, right? Which is if you don't get in one of those bands and you just stay in sort of inch per hour snow and it's going for 8 or so hours. Sure, that's 8 inches, but that's not a foot. It's one of those. People are very sensitive on numbers. That's why we kind of give you that range. Right. It's the 25 to 75% range of certainty. But I mean, look at the intense snowfall here on Long Island. I mean, you can just see where it transitions to rain, right? You're used to seeing those oranges and summer thunderstorms, right? It's that as snow. So that's what when we have things like thunder snow, which is when you get those super intense bands, all it is it's just the snow form of, summer thunderstorms.
Right.
So let's talk about the weekend.
Yeah.
What's it looking like this weekend?
The weekend is looking pretty brutally cold, I think would be the best way to describe it.
But not snow.
Correct. So Friday morning, here's all the wind coming in. You've got this Arctic wind, if you will, right? Look at the wind direction. It's coming from Canada. So that's bringing in all of that cold air.
Canada.
Yeah, there you go. The storm's here, right? And it's got to bring in all of this air around it. So that's where you get that Arctic invasion. And then through to the weekend, you're looking at low temperatures in the single digits. Once you deal with this snow, here's the interesting fact with the snow. Take a look at this foot of snow here. That foot of snow insulates you on the ground, so it doesn't ruin your ground when you have this cold, but it also, rather than absorbing the sun's heat like asphalt does, it reflects it. It's called albedo, which is how you can get a sunburn just like looking down at the snow. Well, that also means that you're actually not going to warm up as much during the day. So it actually can drop your temperatures by a couple of degrees. So when we talk about those low temperatures, we're talking about feels like temperatures anywhere from -5 to -35.
-35.
-35 feels like temperatures. And in fact, there are spots in the Green Mountains and in the Adirondacks where I think you could have a wind chill of -50 this weekend.
So, I mean, this is one of the few times where I'm like, I'm sort of happy that I don't have, kids and a family, because I can just hibernate on my couch this weekend and do nothing unless I get sent out on a big story or something.
Right
but
now,
I feel bad for you.
My husband is at home with our 6-year-old because there's no school.
Which I don't understand. I mean, we have had worse snowstorms here in New York. When I was a kid at Stuyvesant High School in Manhattan, I got one snow day all of my high school career. And they're calling it for
they're not as tough as we were.
But your kids are going to want, your daughter's going to want to go out.
She's going to want to go sledding, and he's going to have to suit up and get out there.
Well, and so that's the one important thing to remember is that the snow's not going to be that bad, but when the winds start cranking on the backside of the storm, that's where it starts to get dangerous, because you have the dangerous cold and the wind chills on there, but also it's very difficult to see. So when you're dealing with, a wind gust of 60 miles an hour, that's how you get blizzard conditions. Blizzard conditions is not the snow rate, it's a question of how fast the wind is and how little you can see. So when it's less than a quarter of a mile, it's really dangerous, and it's also a blizzard condition, and that's why there's that blizzard warning from Maine all the way to Virginia.
Well, as I'm binging Black Mirror, Anne-Marie, I will think of you and your
Love that
daughter.
show.
But you'll probably be at home. It'll be your husband.
Please, yes.
Out there in the snow.
Smart.
Weather producer David Parkinson, as always, my friend, thanks for your insight.